अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते वही जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी। धन्य धन्य तुम्हें से काज सब आज बड़ो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So today is our 13th lecture in this SEM, and so far we have covered Vitrag Vigyan 1 and Vitrag Vigyan 2. We are just about to complete it. 3 chapters remaining. So today we will be starting with chapter number 6, 7 addictions. Recently means last maybe 4-5 years, 2-3 years or 4-5 years ago, there was a movie Udta Punjab. Anyone has heard this name? Udta
Yes.
Punjab. And what was the story about?
It was about the drug addiction.
Drug addictions, which was quite prevalent in Punjab, in a particular place or town, something like that. Every one member of family was drug addicted, you know. So there were a lot of thoughts and discussions going on ki why, what is this happening. So the Pakistan border is very nearby. So from there, these drugs come illegally to the state, and to increase their sale, they first offered them for free drugs, and once they become addicted to it, and then it became very difficult for them to get those drugs because it cost a huge money. I know somebody who is into drug, he's a drug addict, and he is taking drugs every day worth 10,000 rupees. Of course, he's got enough money, but his life is totally spoiled. His family is spoiled, his life, his children, his wealth, his business, everything has a downfall, and it's ruining his family life, everything. So addictions are such, you can just imagine that how important is this chapter 7 addiction. Now we'll talk about these 7 addictions from 2 viewpoints. One from the psychic point of view and one from the material point of view or the substance point of view, right? So in Hindi it is called Sat Vyasan. Vyasan, it is called Vyasan. So one will be Bhav Vyasan and one will be Dravya Vyasan. Okay. We call it as addictions or vices. 7 vices also we can say, right? So these vices are nothing but, 5 sins. We have studied about 5 sins in Bal Bodh, 5 paap. Violence, hinsa, jhoot, falsehood, then chori, theft, kushil, unchastity, and parigra, right? Parigra is possession. So these 5 sins in a advanced form or in an extreme form are vices. So once people get into indulge in sins, 5 sins, and that 5 sins, if you go extreme, it leads to vices. So this is such a dangerous thing in terms of when we are looking to pursue this spiritual path of happiness. In that path, this is coming as a big hindrance. So if you are connected with any of the vices, other vices also come up automatically. So this is a very important chapter. Which Anuyog is this chapter from? Can anyone suggest?
Jnana Yoga.
Yes, very good. And can anyone apply 4 expositions to this 7 addictions? Why people get indulged in these 7 addictions? So who will try? Just raise your hand. Yeah, Pratibha ji, you try.
I'm
Unmute
going to
yourself.
try.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm going to try.
yeah.
I would go with Pratmani Yoga first.
Mhm.
Like these people haven't read any biographies or how these Tirthankars went through. So some scriptures about them that would have helped them. I think they're very weak-minded, so they're depressed, or that could be the reason sometimes some people get into
Do you
addiction.
remember any character in Indian in Jainism Pratman Yoga where a person was indulging in 7 vices? Anyone else?
I couldn't.
Very famous story, you know. Anjan Chor.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Anjan Chor. And he got liberated in same birth. So that journey started from there. He was a theft. That's why his name was Anjan Chor. But he was not only indulged in theft, he has all the other vices also, you know.
Mhm.
So this is Pratman Yoga. Now, uh, who will try for Karnan Yoga? Himali. Very easy.
Um, so it's obviously play of some karma,
Huh.
but I think if I were to connect it with the earlier chapter, then
Huh.
it's constant influx of karma also, because constantly he is stealing things.
Right, right. So basically, we would conclude that it's the rise of the karma that is that is propping him up to indulge in 7 vices, right? Now, next, Dravyan Yoga, Roshni.
I'm thinking, so how will I connect Ravyanu Yoga? I mean, for example, if you take drug addiction, that's really impacting and bringing pleasure, temporary pleasure to the body. It's really not affecting the soul
Right,
as such. So, and really, we should be focused on our soul, not our body.
right,
So that's one reason why it's considered a vice, and it doesn't allow us to get vitragta.
right.
So the indulging in vices takes us further away from vitragta.
Very good, very good. All have answered very nicely. So basically, from the soul point of view, he is only a knower of these things. Okay, he's not a doer. So from Dravyan Yoga, we can say that soul and body are 2 different. So vices is all part of the body, part of not only body, but mind, speech, and body. All 3 are getting involved in vices, and the soul is only a knower. So as far as soul is concerned, soul never indulges in any of the vices, right? So that is from Dravyan Yoga. Now, moving on to the last and final Charnan Yoga. Samyak, would you try?
So I'm not too sure.
So
I missed last week.
you're not following the recordings? We had a very good discussion on 4 exposition last class and last to last class, both the classes we had this.
Yeah, I will review last week's.
Okay. So this is a very important topic, and your concept clarity paper 2 is also on 4 exposition. So this 4 exposition can be applied in all the situations of life. And if you apply these 4 expositions, you arrive at a very concrete and perfect decision, you know, and decision making is all what matters in our life, you know. One decision, good decision, you are on a different level, and one bad decision, you are in a very lower level, you know. So this practical application of 4 exposition is very important from the perspective of our day-to-day life, from the perspective of making our life very helpful, very happy and meaningful, and you can apply it in all the situations, right? So this comes in very handy, and when you are looking at one particular thing from 4 different angles, you get the correct picture. And when you get the correct picture, when you analyze the correct picture, you arrive at the right decision. So this chapter is very important. That's why I have put it in concept clarity paper 2. And I have suggested that you write notes on it and the practical examples, at least 3 examples from your day-to-day life where you applied these 4 expositions and how does it help to live a very happy life. So anyways, you catch up. And so one thing is that you have to attend the class live. And the second thing is that if you're not able to attend live due to some reason, not always, but sometimes always happens with everyone, you are engaged in some other activities which you cannot avoid. So in those cases, you have to catch up on recording, but you must be uh, at par with the class, you know. Your thought process, your efforts, your ability, and your whatever you have, you must put it in this particular understanding these concepts, and it's going to bring you so much of happiness in your life. So now coming on to the last Charnan Yog, Madhuji, you can try.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, all the 4 are involved in this. That is, if your conduct is not good,
Hmm.
then somewhere or the other,
Hmm.
you are not connecting yourself to all the yogs.
Okay.
So conduct is a very important part of our life.
Right.
And um,
So if we apply
all
Charnan, if we
Chananu,
apply into
yeah,
Anjan's life, you know, Anjan Cho.
Anjan's life. Yes.
So you will realize, like this, as the story goes, his father was a king, and
Yeah.
he was very wealthy, and he was Jain, and then this young Anjan Cho, he stopped going to mandir. He came into wrong contacts, wrong company, wrong friendships, you know, and that's how he caught up all these vices, you know.
Yeah.
And it was to that extent that he was not listening to his parents and seniors and other family members. So the king, he uh, turned him out of the village, you know. He said, you have no right to stay here. You go out. So he went to some other place, and there he further uh, indulged in all the vices. And then to support that lifestyle, he has to steal. So he became a theft, and he kept on stealing things, and his livelihood was going like that only. And it was not only stealing; he had other vices also along with that, and that made his life very miserable. And somehow he got connected to the to one day he stole. Uh, so he was in love with a prostitute, and that prostitute said, "I want that necklace, queen's necklace." So he thought of stealing the necklace, and he has this special ability that nobody can see him, So he stole the necklace, and then because he had got this quality, special quality, so he became like, what I would say, like there was a movie, Mr. India, So he just disappears. He just disappears from the scene. But that necklace was visible, He was invisible, but that necklace was visible. So uh, the the sepoys went after him, and he was running, and he went to a samsan, and there one fellow was trying to master uh, some kind of knowledge, with the help of the mantra, and he was not successful. And this Anjan Chor thought that anyways the sepoy is going to come and catch me, and I'm going to die. So why not try this? So he tried that thing after learning the mantra from that person, and he was successful. And so his life was saved. And then he realized that uh, by like then he asked that person that how did you get this knowledge, and then he took him to a monk, Muniraj, that I learned this knowledge from this Muniraj. And then he listened to the sermons of Muniraj, and his mind got converted, and he became a good person, and he got initiated into monkhood. And then he practiced penance and pardon. Okay, so then he started practicing meditation, and he and in that monkhood only he got liberated. Same birth. So on one side he was indulging in 7 vices, and on the other side his life turned, and he became a monk, and he attained liberation in that particular birth. So from this example, of course we were talking about Charnan Yoga. So from the point of view of Charnan Yoga, we would say that he got in wrong company, wrong friendship, and that's where he picked up those bad habits, and because of that bad habits, his life was miserable. So we should always be careful whom we make friends. If we make good friends, we imbibe good qualities from them, and if we make bad friends, then we automatically catch up bad qualities. And since we were moving against the flow, so it is easy to catch up bad habits, and it's very difficult to get a good habit. So anyway, you have to put in more efforts and be aware that whom you are making friendship with, and this is how you can be saved. And this is what the chapter is all about. So this chapter is written by Pandit Banarasi Das ji. We will just we'll just read about his lifestyle. Pandit Banarasi Das ji, he was here he was born in 1587 Common Era, and his life was of only 55 years. And in that 55 years, he had seen many ups and downs in his life. And previously, he was not a Jain. He was into some other religion, and then he became a Jain. And he was so much interested in the spiritual knowledge, and he had to face some financial difficulties also in between, and his family life also was not very happy. He married thrice, and he had 9 children, 7 sons and 2 daughters. And all of them died. All the 3 wives and the 9 children, everyone died. So you can just imagine that in front of his, one after the other, the family members comes and goes, and He was there, but since he was an enlightened person, he was able to weather all these adverse situations in his life. So then he wrote a biography, Ard Kathanak, and that is the first biography in Hindi language. So Pandit Banarasi Das ji was here in 1587 to 1642. So at that point of time, the Hindi is not the modern Hindi, it's the old Hindi, And that book, Ard Kathanak, is his first biography in Hindi language. And that autobiography reflects 55 years of Panditji's life. So we'll just read the introduction, whom I will make a co-host who can share the Vitrag Vigyan. Yeah, okay. I'll make Hemali the co-host and you can share the book. Yeah, I made you co-host. So this lesson 6, 7 addictions, and then we have 2 more chapters to cover. One is about the great Ashtanika festival, chapter number 8, and then chapter number 7 also, non-violence. So 6, 7, 8, 3 chapters remaining. And thank you, Hemali, you are so fast. So Roshni, you read the introduction of Pandit Banarasi Das ji, some of the things we discussed, the main points. And
Yeah. 7 Addictions by Pandit Banarasi Das ji. Famous both in the fields of poetry and spiritualism, Pandit Banarasi Das was a great poet and spiritual scholar of the 17th century. He was born on Sunday, the 11th day of the second half of Magh month in the Shrimal dynasty at Lala Kharag Sen's house. He was then named Vikramjit. When he was on pilgrimage of Banaras, he was named Banarasi Das after the birthplace of Bhagwan Parshvanath. He was the only son of his parents. He saw many ups and downs in his life. He had to face financial difficulties many a time, and his family life was also not very happy. He married thrice and had 9 children, 7 sons and 2 daughters, but none remained alive. He did not lose his patience even in such difficult circumstances because he used to be absorbed in spiritual thinking. He was a born poet. At the age of 14, he began to compose verses of a high order. But in his early life, he wrote verses on love and sex. His first word, Navras, was ready when he was barely 14. He had poems of a corporeal nature. It was an important work on corporeal subjects. However, the poet threw it in River Gomti when spiritual wisdom dawned upon him.
little bigger you can make, Hemali. Next page. Yeah.
Next page. Famous both in the fields of poetry and spiritualism.
Next page. Next. Slightly. Yes. Yeah.
After that, all his life was full of spiritualism. 4 works written after that are available. For example, Natak Samaisar, Banarsi Vilas, Namala, and Ardha Kathanak. Natak Samaisar is, in a way, poetic translation of the verses of Amrita Chanda Acharya. However, due to the keen insight of the poet, the study of this book gives delight as that of an independent work. The book is full of spiritualism. Ardha Kathanak is the first autobiography in Hindi language and is a fully developed work of art. The 55 years of the life of the poet have been described as in a looking glass. Banarsi Vilas is a collection of different writings, and Namala is a poetic dictionary. The poet is unmatched both in his poetic art and his pursuit of truth.
Yeah, thank you. So you see that he was a born poet. At the age of 14, he began to compose verses of a very high order. But all these was verses on love and sex. Love and sex means actually the word is Sringar Ras. So, it explains the other things, the character and his beauty and all things. So it is written here, love and sex. Actually, it is Sringar Ras. In Hindi, it is called Sringar Ras. His first work, Navras, was ready when he was barely 14. So you can see how talented he was at that age also. And he had written books and poems and all. It was an important, these had poems of a corporeal nature. Corporeal nature means Sringaras. It was an important work on corporeal subjects. However, the poet threw it in river Gomti when spiritual wisdom dawned upon him. So he realized that this is not going to help me in any way, and this is what I should stop. So he not only stopped, but all his hard work and efforts in which he made this book, Navras, he also threw it in river Gomti. And then he got more interested in spiritualism, and then his life became spiritually. The famous are the four works written by him are Natak Samay Sar. So Natak Samay Sar is a poetic translation of the verses of Amrit Chandra Acharya, and based on those kalash of Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev, he wrote this Natak Samay Sar. But apart from that kalash, he also added something else to that creation, and that makes Natak Samay Sar an independent work. So what does he added to that kalash, the 14 gunasthan, the 14 stages of spiritual development is also included in that. And then there are 11 pratimas that we are going to study in Tattva part 1 that are also part of that text. And thus this particular chapter, the 7 vices, that is also been adapted from Natak Samaysar, and that also has been added. So Samaysar is primarily a Dravyanyog Granth, but because of addition of this Gunasthan and Pratima and vices, 7 addictions, this work of Natak Samaysar, although predominantly it is Dravyanyog only, but it has glimpses of Charnan Yog also and Karnan Yog also. And Panditji's own life is a classic example of Pratman Yog, that in spite of so much ups and downs in his life, and so this was all about Natak Samaysar. Then Ardh Kathanak is his autobiography, and then Banarasi Vilas is a collection of different writings, and Naam Mala is a poetic dictionary. This Ardh Kathanak is the first biography of Hindi language, and it has got a place in Guinness Book of World Records also. You can go and see which is the first Hindi language autobiography. Then you will find this name, Ardh Kathanak, the Panditji's own life, The poet is unmatched in both in his poetic art and his pursuit of truth. So this is taken from Samaysar Natak, this particular chapter. The chapter's name is Sadhya Sadhak Dwar, and the verse number is 27, 28, 29. In Hindi version, it's given, but in English it is not given. He was a contemporary to the famous poet Tulsi Das. He was a contemporary to that poet Tulsi Das. So this Samaysar Natak became so famous that as we, sing filmy songs, Bollywood songs, if you go to You visit any street, you will see people there singing some songs or the other, you know. Similarly, at those point of time, this Natak Samaisar's verses used to be sung by people in the bylanes. You can hear this. It was very famous. So in that particular chapter of Sadhya Sadhak Dwar, verse number 27, 28, 29 discusses about the 7 addictions. So what are these 7 addictions? Now we are moving on to the chapter, and Pratibhaji, you read 7 addictions, and you read the introduction and the first 2 addictions. As I said earlier, that we will be looking at it from 2 viewpoints, each addictions, you know, the one from the psychic point of view and another from the material point of view, or the real point of view. So one from real point of view and another from the conventional point of view. So Pratibhaji, you start reading.
Okay. 7 addictions. 7 addictions are gambling, eating meat, drinking, enjoyment of prostitute, hunting, stealing, and indulgence in other women. To be deeply engrossed in any habit is an addiction. Here, indulgence in bad habits is called addictions, which produce restlessness in being and make them vicious. That way, attachment, aversions, and habits creating cravings are all addictions. Intrinsically, the attachment and aversions with wrong faith are all addictions. Number 1, gambling. Keeping defeat and victory in sight to stake money or other items of wealth in games, or to do something on conditions of gaining or losing money and to be hopeful of extra gain or in fear of losing something, are all various kinds of physical gambling. To consider one blessed in the fruition of merit karmas and be unhappy in the fruition of demerit karmas is spiritual gambling. To renounce all such feelings is a real abstinence from gambling. Number 2, meat eating. To be addicted to eat dead or killed bodies of animals is material meat eating. To be very much concerned with the body, to feel sorry at emaciated health of the body and rejoice in good health, and to be constantly engaged in and be anxious about keeping the body healthy is psychic meat eating.
Yeah, so first 2 is over. So what are the 7 names? The first one is gambling. The second one is meat eating or meat consumption. You can also say meat consumption. The third one is drinking. Now, only drinking means what? So, addiction to intoxicants, right? Okay. So, that is the third one. The fourth one is enjoyment of prostitutes or relationship with prostitutes. The fifth one is hunting. It's the same. Number 6 is indulgence in other women, or you can call it infidelity. And the 7th one is theft. So, my question, what are these vices and how it affects? So when one gets deeply engrossed, in a habit such that he cannot sustain without it and gets totally consumed in it, it is known as a vice or an addiction. Okay. So what this addiction does, It causes intense attachment towards that habit. That is the first thing. It causes restlessness in their absence, such that a person becomes vicious and maybe violent. Many a times you must have read in the newspaper uh, that, a family was living, mother, his son, daughter-in-law, and his granddaughter. Only 4 people in the family, and they were living in a small flat of 1 room kitchen. So the mother wants to see some other serial, and the daughter-in-law wants to see some other serial. And there was a quarrel, and that the daughter-in-law said that if you do this, then we have to think that how we can keep you with us. And on that, the mother, she felt very bad, and she committed suicide. So small things people are now getting, just because, like, I'll tell you one more example. It was in the newspaper that a student got bad marks in his exam. So his parents took away his mobile, and that fellow committed suicide. So that shows that the addiction is so great that they cannot survive without that. So the parents took away mobile, so he committed a suicide. So it is like that. So when you are deeply engrossed in a particular habit, and that so that you cannot sustain without it, we can call it as an addiction. It produces restlessness and makes them vicious, cruel, and maybe violent. Hamper a person's ability to make the right choices. It leads to unethical behavior in the society. It takes a person away from knowing his own soul and from any kind of spiritual progress. And it's again a extreme form of 5 sins. So first one is the gambling. So we'll be discussing each vices or addictions from 2 point of view. One is from the conventional point of view, and one is from the real point of view. So from the conventional point of view, gambling means keeping defeat and victory in sight to stake money or other items of wealth in games. So, from Pratman Yog, the famous stories of, I think, Pandavas, right? Yeah, Pandavas. And because of that game of dice, they had to suffer exile for 14 years. They lost everything, the kingdom, the wealth, and everything, So, uh, so that what makes addictions suffer. So that was from the conventional point of view. From the real point of view, what is gambling? To consider one blessed in the fruition of merit karmas, that is punya. So to consider oneself lucky or hell, when there is a rise of merit karmas, you get all the good things in life. So to consider yourself to be happy with that, and to be unhappy in the fruition of demerit karmas is spiritual gambling, or the gambling from the real point of view. To renounce all such feelings is real abstinence from gambling. So you see, it is not the normal gambling or the conventional gambling that we are talking about. To consider oneself to be happy with the rise of merit karmas or the auspicious karmas, and to consider oneself unhappy with the rise of inauspicious karma is gambling from the real point of view. So, from the conventional point of view, gambling, this particular article was written in, I told you the date, 1587 he was born. So it must be around 1600, 25 AD, So it is almost now 400 years. So 400 years gambling was having this form. But in modern times, betting in sports, derby, horse racing, now there is a Dream 11, the whole country has become a wager or a gambler, everyone is now, every other person, majority of people are now getting involved in this. Then there is this stock market, and then there is intraday trading, and then there is future and options, then there is commodity trading, and then there is cryptocurrency. All these are the modern forms of gambling: casino, poker card, then lottery, housey, and now some of the video games are also like that. So all this, of course, the government is getting revenue from all these games and stock market and everything, but it is making people uh, forming those bad habits, and many lives are being ruined because of this habit, So it is like that. The next one is meat eating or meat consumption. And it's, of course, very simple that eating non-veg foods is all about meat consumption. To be addicted to eat dead or killed bodies of animals for food is material meat eating. And what would be, from the psychic point of view or the real point of view, to be very much concerned with the body, to feel sorry at emaciated health of the body, that is the body catching up disease, and rejoice in good health, and to be constantly engaged in and be anxious about keeping the body healthy is psychic meat eating. So meat consumption, the traditional meat consumption, we all know, eating non-veg foods is all about meat consumptions. But getting indulged in, the care of the body and all is again a kind of meat consumption only. So you see, there is so much of deep meaning when we see it from the real point of view. So meat consumption includes consuming honey, also eggs, even food stored in leather containers, So it not only includes the meat consumption, also includes usage of bags, belts, and other accessories made of leather. Then eating food that is not prepared according to Jain principles is again a cause of violence, and again it's included in the meat consumption. Then we have some seafoods like oysters, clams, fish, poultry animals, birds like chicken, duck, geese, then animal meat of cows, pigs, insects, reptiles are all part of meat consumption. Again, another thing that generally people are not aware is the use of cosmetics, because if you see the preparation of cosmetics, it is prepared by killing some animals. You have seen one movie, Cruelty, Beauty with Cruelty. The name of the movie is Beauty with Cruelty. There they have shown that how these lipsticks and all are manufactured, from the blood of animals. First they kill the animals, then they take out the blood from the animals, and with that blood they mix up some other things, and they make lipsticks and other cosmetics. So all these are again a part of meat consumption only. So using cosmetics and then leather purse, coat, shoes, silk garments, all these are made after killing animals. So again, it's kind included in the meat consumption. The third and the fourth. The third is about drinking, and the fourth is about enjoyment of prostitutes. So drinking, it's not only drinking, it's called addiction to intoxicant like alcohol and anything. We'll be discussing about it. First, let's read from the textbook. Madhuji, you read.
Yes, sir.
Two only, drinking and enjoyment of prostitutes.
Yeah, thank you. Drinking. To take wine, hemp, and its preparations or other intoxicants is material drinking, and to remain forgetful of the self due to delusion is psychic drinking. 4. Enjoyment of prostitutes. To have sex with a prostitute and to go to her place in material enjoyment of prostitutes and to be interested in perverted intellect is psychic enjoyment. That is to say, engaging oneself in, in sensual pleasures and passions, leaving the nature of the soul, is such enjoyment. A prostitute destroys wealth, health, and good name, while perverted intellect destroys the good name of the soul and pushes one to the tortures of the lowest cadre of life for times eternal.
So you see, addiction to intoxicants, like alcohol, tea, coffee, cold drinks. Cold drinks also, many people get addicted, this Pepsi and Coca-Cola. And there was plan to ban all these drinks also because they are also a kind of addiction only, So consumption of alcohol, drugs, drugs, then cigarettes, then weed, opioids, heroin, drugs. We just discussed now. Pan masala, very rampant in if you go to now B town, C town, and the small villages, everyone is into the habit of uh, this pan parag and pan masala, and so many celebrities are also endorsing those products. I was wondering that like people who have so much wealth in his life, why they should promote such a product which is ruining the life of the youngsters. And that shows that how what is the level of their intellect. Celebrities like sports persons and film stars endorsing these pan parak products. I was just thinking that what is there in their mind. For money they are ready to do anything, even if it is it's affecting the life of the youngsters. So many people getting spoiled by indulging those addictions. As they spoil their life, people are getting cancer. Recently, not very recently, but maybe 4 or 5 years ago, before COVID, uh, there was somebody from Madhya Pradesh and who has got an addiction of pan parag, and he got a cancer. And he was there in Mumbai to do the treatment in Tata Hospital, and I went there to see him. So there I realized that out of 10 people, 7 were from Bengal. So cancer is so much of rampant there in Bengal that everyone, every out of every 10 patients, 7 were from Bengal. And that's I realized that eating all non-veg food and addictions of pan parag and all, it's ruining the life of so many poor people. And so indulging in this kind of vices like drinking, getting habit of this kind of things spoils the life. not only of that individual, but the whole family suffers because of that. The next one is enjoyment of prostitutes. So not only to have sex, but only going to her place is material enjoyment of prostitutes. And to be interested in perverted intellect, koti buddhi, perverted intellect is psychic enjoyment, So this is very deep. So one is from the material point of view, the meaning, and the other is from the psychic point of view. So if you consider the psychic point of view, enjoyment of prostitute, it is getting indulged in perverted intellect. That is to say, engaging oneself in sensual pleasures and passions. Living the nature of the soul is such enjoyment. A prostitute destroys wealth, health, and good name, while perverted intellect is more dangerous because it destroys the good name of the soul and pushes one to the tortures of the lowest cadre of life for times eternal. So narak में and निगोद में आपको ले जाता है. So this kind of addictions takes you to hell and subhuman state, So there also you suffer. So presently also you are suffering, and the result, when the fruition of that karma comes, you again suffer. So it is not good from any of the angles. So we have completed 4. Now the balance 3, we are doing to do it together. Samyak, you can read. It's on the screen.
Yeah.
Hunting, 5th, 6th, 7th.
Hunting. To kill and enjoy killing bear, lion, deer, pig, and other freely wandering animals of the woods, and different birds cruelly with a gun or other arms is material hunting. And to kill psychic life, actuated by strong passions, and to enjoy torturing other creatures is psychic hunting. Indulgence in other women. To like to enjoy women, except the one duly married according to religious precepts, is material indulgence in other women, while examining others' wisdom without comprehending the essence of the fundamentals is psychic indulgence, that is, indulging and interfering in the life currents of others, leaving oneself is psychic indulgence. Theft. To take others' belongings without their permission and with recklessness is material stealing, while to accept relationship with non-self articles and beings with a feeling of attachment is psychic stealing. One cannot know oneself without abandoning all 7 addictions. Those who are disgusted with the worldly turmoils and want to attain real happiness of the soul should definitely get rid of these 7, since one cannot have right faith in the presence of even one of these 7 addictions. Addictions are easily abandoned if one is drawn towards one's soul and enjoys its progress towards perfection. Even at present, these addictions are painful and decried by the world. Those indulging in these are called addicts and vicious.
Yeah, thank you, Samyak. The 5th one is hunting. So we all know Salman Khan there was a case on Salman Khan. I think it's still going on because he was indulging in hunting, he was somewhere near Jodhpur. He went for a shooting, and there he went to a jungle, and there he enjoyed this hunting. So there was a case on this, and lot of problems in that. So to kill and enjoy killing bear, lion, deer, pig, and other freely wandering animals of the woods. Woods means jungle. And different birds cruelly with a gun or other arms is material hunting. Now, what would be psychic hunting? And to kill psychic life actuated by strong passions. So, psychic hunting is by manifesting strong passions, you are killing your own self. And that is the real or the psychic hunting. Okay. So when you indulge in physical hunting, simultaneously you have a longing for that, and that the feeling of longing is a hunting of yourself, because unless and until you indulge in that kind of attachment, you are not going to do it physically. So that attachment part is psychic hunting, and the actual hunting, like killing animals, is the material hunting. So both, from both ways, it's not doing any good to our life. So just consider that those animals are also souls like us, and if you kill them, then you are binding inauspicious karmas, and that when it comes into fruition, you will also suffer similar kind of fate. So that was about hunting. The next one is indulgence in other women or the infidelity. So the present time, this has taken a very big, I would say, big problem, infidelity. The couples are getting divorced because of infidelity only. Uh, there are so many affairs going on, and if you happen to read the lifestyles of these celebrities or Bollywood people or the people who are into TV serials and all, uh, their married life is very less. It's hardly very few people that remains faithful to their partner. Otherwise, it's all cheating going on. And, you know, then we wonder that how we can see movies of these people who are ethically so immoral in their life, they're cheating their spouses, and, the life has become like that. So in the present era, this infidelity has taken a very big proportion, and that is leading to divorces. So the divorces rate has gone up, and this is, we were talking about the general public at large, but even in Jainism, nowadays divorces are also going up, because the girls are also doing job now, so they also don't want to listen to their partner's instructions. They want to lead their independent life, and that's what there is always a conflict between the two, and then they end up getting divorced. In earlier times, the women were very, I would say, uh, they used to bear, whatever be the outcome. They never thought of divorce, but nowadays, because women have become independent and they are earning in equal proportion to men, so they resort to divorces. And we can't help it. It's only the religion that can save you from any of these vices and bad habits. Otherwise, if you are away from the religion, if you are away from Dev Shastra Guru, you will catch up these vices sooner or later. So this is a very big problem. Indulges in other women. To like to enjoy women except the one duly married, according to religious precepts, is material indulgence in other women while examining others' wisdom. So this is the psychic indulgence, examining others' wisdom. How intelligent is that person? Is again a psychic indulgence in infidelity. Without comprehending the essence of the fundamentals, is psychic indulgence that is indulging and interfering in the life currents of others, living one's self, is psychic indulgence. So not spending time to understand the 7 fundamentals, and using your intelligence in examining the intelligence level or the intelligent quotient of others is psychic indulgence in infidelity. The last one, theft, to take others' belongings without their permission and with recklessness, is material stealing, while to accept relationship with non-self articles and beings with a feeling of attachment is psychic stealing. So about the theft, to take others' belonging without their permission. So this is one. Other is that even somebody had borrowed something from you, say example, I have asked you to give me your pen. So I was writing the pen and I left the pen and I went to the toilet. Now you came back and without asking me, you took your pen away. And now when I came back, I was just searching your pen that, oh, I borrowed from him and how will him give him back? Somebody has taken away. So all those thoughts and feelings, that is again a kind of theft. So even if it is your pen, you should say him that I'm taking my pen back. So at least that person will not search for it, So that is again a more advanced form of physical theft. Now, talking about of psychic stealing is what while to accept relationship with non-self articles. So the one that does not belong to you, you consider that to be your own, is the psychic stealing. While to accept relationship with non-self articles and beings with a feeling of attachment. Okay. So again, this feeling of attachment is psychic stealing. So this is all about 7 vices or addictions. Now, what is the conclusion? One cannot know oneself. Samyak darshan, right belief. You cannot have right belief without abandoning all these 7 addictions. Those who are disgusted with the worldly turmoils and want to attain real happiness of the soul should definitely get rid of these 7 addictions. Since one cannot have right faith in the presence of even one of these addictions. Addictions are easily abandoned even if one is drawn towards one's soul and enjoys its progress towards perfection. Even at present, these addictions are painful and decried by the world. Those indulging in this are called addicts and vicious. So the biggest loss is that we are not able to manifest right belief. That is the biggest loss. And of course, it spoils your life and all the things that we have seen. But the biggest is that you go far away from the right belief. So it is best that you create awareness about these 7 vices, and not only from the material point of view, but also from the psychic point of view. And if you consider the psychic point of view, you will see that we are also involved in some way or the other in this kind of vices. Not the physical vices, but the psychic vices, the psychic addictions, like checking about the intelligence of other people and then getting happy when there is a rise of auspicious karma and getting sad when there is a rise of inauspicious karma. These are all psychic indulgence in addictions. Okay. So the you need to know both the viewpoints, the material viewpoint and the psychic viewpoint. And by understanding all these things, you can avoid all indulgence in this kind of things. And that that will be good for you to manifest right belief. So if you are involved in any of these vices, you will not get the right belief. And without right belief, you are not into the path of liberation, and you will never get liberated. So,
So,
hmm.
so
Any questions?
ask you a question with regards to point number 5, which is hunting.
Hmm.
So in that, they're largely talking of hunting and torturing other creatures is psychic hunting.
Hmm.
But sir, for instance, even capturing them, which would probably be the first step of hunting, and then putting them in a cage or a zoo and then enjoying the zoo, that
Right.
would be some sort of, I mean,
Yeah, that will all be a psychic hunting only, part of psychic hunting only. First, the planning when you first the thought comes in your mind, right? So you plan that I will do hunting, and then you do actual hunting, and then you bring that animal and you put it in a cage, and then on a particular day you kill that animal. Even in some of the religions, like giving bali pratha. It's very prevalent. It was very prevalent in Hindus in the olden days. Nowadays, the reforms have come, but people used to give bali of goat or some other animals or cow or something like that. Even bali of persons also. Now, in earlier times, people used to have 5 kids, 6 kids, 10 kids. So they would say that I will give bali of my son or my daughter, one of the sons and one of the daughters. So those bad practices were prevalent in earlier times. But nowadays we don't have that. But people do get indulged in this kind of addictions knowingly and unknowingly. And so we have to be very careful in what we are doing and how we are doing, and whether we are uh, going against the Charnan Yoga. There is rules laid down for a householder as well as for a monk. If we are following those rules or not, and we never know when we will get involved or in this kind of addictions. So all those are part of hunting only. The thoughts, the planning, keeping it in the cage, and torturing, everything. It's all part of psychic hunting.
like for instance, sir, in India and China, among the very, very rich people, like whether that is Ambani or in China, they have their own private, kind of zoos. They call it our own
Yeah.
forest. Like in China, one of the very rich persons, he's formed a restaurant and he has got 200 to 300 Siberian tigers.
Oh,
And you are sitting and you're eating in the restaurant, and they throw a goat, like a dead goat for the Siberian tiger. You just see the Siberian tiger kind of tearing it apart and eating it. And
mm.
they all enjoy all these things. So all this
Yeah.
would totally
And there are some countries in the Middle East. Uh, they they steal kids from poor countries like India and all, and then they put them on the back of a camel, uh, and those babies cries, and they enjoy that. So
yeah.
kind of games also goes up. Then there is fighting of bulls and all. So all these are all kind of violence only, and these are kind of addictions.
But so one last question. So if you don't do this again and again, then it's not an addiction, right?
Yeah, you do again and again, and then if you are not doing it, you cannot sustain. That's what addiction is all about. So it is like that. So any bad habit is again an addiction only. So you should
So,
huh,
so can I ask one thing?
yeah.
Have, having pets, what about that? Having pets at home, dogs or
Our Jainism says that you should not have pets, because you have to take care of him, and like some of the people do have pets, which is not advisable as per Jainology, but again, people do have this uh, hobby of keeping pets, and then they take them out, and uh, whatever they eat, you never know what they eat, they eat insects also, and these also. So you cannot stop them. It's their staple food, So again, you are directly or indirectly getting into violence, and the very sight of keeping tied in a particular place, uh, it's again very like it's like a kind of jail for those animals. So we should not uh, get into keeping pets. It is against our Charnan Yoga. So now you know all the 4 expositions, so you can yourself decide whether this is good for us or not. So it is not advisable to keep pets. Any other questions?
Right, sir. Actually,
Can
one
I ask
question,
one
sir.
question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about this indulgence in other women, and like what you're saying, nowadays there are a lot of divorce happening, a lot of, even in Jainism, and I mean, it's everywhere.
Hmm.
Before in India, they never used to have it. Now it says increase over there too.
Hmm.
But the old days, the
Hmm.
ladies used to suffer, but they never used to say anything. Like what you said, there may be more tolerance, or maybe
Right.
they didn't have any way to be out. Now they're working. So is it like you saying it's something wrong but isn't that suffering too if they just stay and take all the, whatever torture, that's mental torture?
Right. So I'll give you my personal opinion. So it is not like women in our family should not work. That is the first principle, because your husband is earning for you. You be satisfied with that income, no? Why you want more? So nowadays people earn because they want to support their lifestyle. They want to buy new dresses, new jewelries every now and then. So they are independent. They are earning. So they spend those money on those. But like if you live a life of like a typical Jain family, we don't allow women to work, and when you are spending 12 hours with somebody in the office, some other colleagues and all, then you develop a kind of feeling with to them, and that what's uh, brings quarrels among the partners, and then it ultimately leads to divorce. So if you follow the Jainism theory, then our women in the past never worked. The times are changing, but the religion remains the same. Religions remains the same, the principles remains the same. Now, if you follow the whatever the things going on across the world, then the direction is different. They are going a different direction. We want to get liberated, so our direction is different. So still our Charnan Yoga are all still valid, and they are very logical. So the the responsibility is on the woman to give sanskars to their children. But if the woman is working, then the children will go to babysitting, and they will all catch up those sanskars only, you know. And so everything is getting spoiled, you know. So there are two things: either you follow the trend that is going across the world, or you follow the trend what our acharyas have said, what our Charnan Yoga have said, So according to our Charnan Yoga, we don't allow our women or daughters to go and work, you know. you will be protected by the auspicious karmas that you bind by following the path as laid down by our acharyas. And if you follow that, you will already be protected. You don't need any security, you will automatically. Sita was, there was one Agni Pariksha, when he came back from the jungle, because of that Dhobi, Ram sent her to exile in the jungle, and there Love and Kush was born. And when he came back after that, his punishment, she came back. So since Ram was a king, so they thought that you should do, because Ravan kidnapped her, no? So whether she is still pure sati or not, so she has to undergo a test. And that test was, she has to jump on the fire. And if she is pure, she will not get injured. And if she is not pure, she will get injured. So Sita was pure, so she jumped on the fire. But the Devlok, people from heavenly beings, they saved him. And that fire was uh, turned into water. And she never got injured. And that's how she passed that test. So if you have a purity in yourself, everything will come to you. You don't have to earn for your security and for your rights and everything. You will get automatically rights. You will protected by your husband, by your religion, everything. So this is all about the Jainism that our acharyas have written about, and the world is going in a different way. And all the learned people think that way, that now the daughter should also be trained, they should work so that their confidence is good and all. But our religions will support everything. You will get the confidence also, everything. If you follow Jainism, you will not get into any of the problems. There will be nothing, no divorce, nothing.
But you're talking from the right now, like the woman point of view, like the woman shouldn't work, but then it's the same responsibility of the man to support too, right? I mean, but like what you said, I mean, if there is infidelity and if there is no good relation, the family is suffering. In that case also, I mean, without religion support, whatever, do you think the woman should still suffer and take all that?
It is not about suffering, it is not about suffering. I don't promote it that way. Because if you are following Jainism, the woman does not have to suffer, in that sense that uh, you know like just now we were discussing the story of Sita. So it is not that the Sita was suffering, because he was also an enlightened soul. And the heavenly beings supported them. And even in jungle also, uh, his brother, I think his brother or somebody else also supported him, so he got support. It's the karma theory that is playing. It is not that the Ram is inflicting pain on Sita. It is his karma, it is her karma that is coming into fruition. And there are bad karmas also and good karmas also. So even she has to suffer, but there were support system available there in the jungle also. And she was saved everywhere. And that is the same story about any other ladies like Anjana. Then we have Mena Sundari, stories of Mena Sundari, and then we have many other women also who become a great personality.
Sent over and Nuyog say
I'm not
anything
talking
about
from the woman point of view. I'm talking about the Jainism point of view. Okay. So
Oh,
you are already protected. You don't need any education for that. Not only education, but the working for that, to make yourself secure. You will have so much of auspicious karma that your husband will earn very good, and you will have all the luxuries in life. And the kids will get good sanskar from you, you know. So the primary function of a woman is to manage the household, to manage the children, you know, their sanskar, to take them to the temple, everything, you know.
Sir, is this an interpretation of our Anuyogs, or do our Anuyogs literally say this, that it's the woman's responsibility to raise children, give them good sanskar, to take care of the home? And then do the Anuyogs say anything about it's also the father's responsibility to take care of children's sanskar?
So there are stories in Pratman Yoga, you know, and from Pratman Yoga stories, we can make out that how they used to live their life, you know, how Sita never went for any work. Anjana never went for any work. Even Mena Sundari, you know the story of Mena Sundari. So
I've heard it.
She was a strong believer of Jainism, and the monk told him that you will get a husband who will got liberated in the same birth. And she believed in the words of monk, and so her father was looking for a match for Mena Sundari and his sister and her sister, you know. So Mena Sundari said that I will get whatever is in my luck. So her father thought of teaching him a lesson. So he got him married to a person who was having that leprosy kind of disease, you know. And that disease went away, you know. So it is all your own auspicious karma that comes into fruition, and that gives you good things in life. It is not your doing job or any other things that you are looking at. The security already comes with you when you are following the true Jainism. So you have not to work. You forget about the women, even the gents, you know, who are following good, you are practicing Jainism and who are going deep into the religion, spending time for that. They will get birth in their next life in such a place where they don't have to work, you know. So your purpose is getting solved. Either you work and make money, or you don't work and inherit money. You get born to a king, so you automatically become a prince. You don't have to work. So at the end of the day, it is your auspicious karma that will come into fruition, and that is what you will get in your life. So why you are worried? Why you want to make those adjustments to secure yourself? You know, you spend time in reading scriptures, you spend time in going to the temple, you spend time to upbring the children and giving them good sanskars, you know, all these things you can do. That is also a very big job, but nobody realizes that this is again a job, bringing up children and giving them good sanskars. I think it's very important to give good sanskars to your children. First of all, giving birth to a children is again a very good thing, you know. You are giving birth to a life who is getting a human life, you know. To giving a human life is again a very big responsibility of a woman. And that's why we have different rules for man and woman. Man has to earn. Man is responsible for protecting the family. Man is responsible for providing all the benefits. It's men's responsibility, and woman's responsibility is to uh, look after the house and the cooking and the upbringing the children. So there are different responsibilities, and this put together, the whole family progresses, you know. So it is not that you are not working. This is again a kind of working only, and it's not giving you any salary. But if you look at the other way, you are again getting a salary. You are getting the security. You are getting the your children will uh, when you are about to die, these children only will give you samadhi, you know. And if you have not given good sanskars to your children, they will get you admitted to an ICU and you will die there alone. There'll be nobody to look after you. So it's all, everything is connected. Only thing that we need to see it in the right perspective. So all the rules that are laid down in Jainism are all very good. It's written by our acharyas. Even the Pratman Yog stories are written by acharyas. And there you can see a life of how a Jain woman should be. The morality and all the clothes you wear, everything is defined. Everything is defined in Jainism. It's not that it's not defined. Everything is defined. Now it depends on you how much you want to follow. We are guided by our peers. We are guided by our, parents and other people who are successful in their life. So when we chase success in that manner, then we don't follow Jainism. So the Jainism part also, and where the world is going. So now you have to decide where you want to go, how you can bring in a balance. So it's all there. Even in India, in most of the religious families who are very good in religions, women doesn't work. Women doesn't work, and even their daughter-in-law, the one who comes from other family, they are also not allowed to work. They are wealthy, so they don't need to work also. So it is all like that.
Like what
But
you're
very
saying,
wealthy.
that is true.
I was not very
With my-
wealthy, but I never allowed my wife to work. So we managed with whatever money we had, with whatever earnings that I had. And then everything came good. So this is my generation I'm talking about. Now we are again into the next generation. Now I married 30 years ago. So now another generation has come up. So things have changed, So now if I would have thought it otherwise, then I would have brought up my children that way. So it is like that. It all depends on you, how you perceive it, and how you come at a decision to that. Yeah, Pratibha ji, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was going to say like what you're saying, I mean, I know when I was brought up, my father always used to say, you're never going to work. You don't have to work. You are a girl, just get married. I mean,
Right,
that's what, years back.
right,
But now I notice most of the husbands, they want their wife to work. They want them to be educated. I mean,
right,
its expectation has changed now
right,
from generation to generation too.
right,
First thing nowadays they ask is like, what's your education? Have you ever worked? What you can do? I mean, I had to, when I came to this country, I had to literally go back to school or college to learn to work because
right,
working ethics is different and what profession you have degree is different.
right,
So things have changed and most of the women do work, because they have to work.
right. Because now the expectation has gone up, and now it is said that the houses are so costly, lifestyles is so costly, everything is so costly nowadays. Uh, so people think that if the wife works, then one salary will go into making up wealth, and the one will where the house will run, So it is like that, but it is not like that. Like, till today also, I'm talking about India, there are families who don't work and still they are very good at earnings, So it is, as I said, it all depends on you. Your father told you to do this and that, right? But you married such a person. Now, when you are marrying somebody, earlier days, our parents used to fix up and we used to follow them. But nowadays they take interview and they discuss how their life will be, whether they are going to have children or not. They both decide beforehand only. So at that point of time, you can put up your conditions that I will not work and whatever you have in mind, right? You can discuss that. And there are still people who accept those things. And there are people who are following Jainism in the true sense, and they feel that, yeah, our wife should not work. Because, as I said, we are moving against the flow. So the flow is the other side. And now you want to go according to Jainism or according to the flow, that you have to decide. So our path of liberation is going against the flow. And these things are going to become difficult as we go ahead in this fifth era. Now you are discussing your life and your children's life. So that's one generation gap that has come, right? So in that one generation gap, there is so much of difference. Even if I talk my son, he wants to follow his own. Although he's into Jainism only, he has done a PhD in Anekant and he is doing now research in Jainism only as a job in Birmingham University in UK. So, but he follows his own. We have our differences. We have our difference of opinion. But there are two things. Either the world moves according to you or you leave the attachment. So I left the attachment. You do whatever you feel like. I have given you the best of sanskar. You know what is Jainism, what is our principles and whatever and now it's your life. I will suggest is this. Now, if you don't want to listen to me, you are on your own. So it is like that, So there are, our Charnan Yoga tells us everything, what is to be done, how do we live our life, what are the best practices, everything is there, right? Now, if you want to follow, you will get those things. If you don't want to follow, okay. At the end of the day, we are responsible for our mind, speech, and body activities, right? What we think, what we decide, that charters our destiny. So if somebody who is going to get liberated, immediately in next few births, he will have those kind of thinkings. And, so it all depends on us, what you want to do. You decide what you want to do. I decided I don't want to make more money. So I retired from business. So that does not mean that everyone should retire. It's your own individual choice. And I was so much passionate about Jainism that I thought that this life is only for reading and understanding the scriptures. So I made a certain level of money, which was sufficient for my life. And then I retired. I retired at the age of 44. Today I am 57. So it has been 12 years since I retired. I never go out to earn anything. Whatever savings I have invested in all the fixed deposits and PPF and all fixed investments. No, nothing, not a single penny in equity market or anything that is riskier assets, like gold or something like that. So it's my own life. I will decide what I want to do. I am not governed by anything. Even my parents were against me when I thought of leaving this business. So I asked my parents, what is your concern? Your concern is that our family life goes smoothly. And I want that much. You will never have any problem with the money. So then they realized and then they accepted. Even they would not have accepted, I would have still retired, because my interest was something else, And we had my father died 3 years ago at the age of 87, and my mother died last year at 88. and they never had a problem. And they were so happy that we are all following Jainism, and they also realized that this is only thing that we should do. Initially, they were also, with the word that why should at such age you are living business and all that. Then I said that it's my life. I have earned enough for this life, and you will also not have any problem. So what difference does it make whether I live 5 crores and die, or I live 50 crores and die? There is no way that we can take many along with us. So it's all depends on you. Yeah, ask Himali.
Sir, I had a question. This is with regards to what we spoke earlier about how women should be, at home. I don't want to use the word domesticated, but how they should be at home. They should be bringing up their kids. So, and the man can go out on. So, somewhere, if you look at the larger spectrum of what Jainism says, it also says that if you want to achieve moksha, or if you want,
Right.
you have to in your previous birth be a man.
Yes.
So, sir, how do the two correlate? Like, for instance, if I'm a woman and I'm not stepping out, I'm largely at home.
So largely at home, what you are doing at home, then you are studying.
I'm studying Jainism. I'm teaching my children good values.
Right.
But the man is stepping out. He's also in contact with other women.
Why is stepping out, why a Jain man steps out to earn for livelihood?
Correct.
Even if he has enough money for this life, then why should he step out? Now, as I said, my example. So when I got married, I didn't have enough money, right? So I had to work.
Yeah.
But the Kalash, I read one Kalash of Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev in Sem1. And in that Kalash, Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev said that give 6 months to yourself. You retire and give 6 months to yourself, and you will have self-realization. That's a guarantee that Acharyas has given in the scripture. One particular Kalash, I will share the Kalash in the group. From there, I got an inspiration that I'm not going to work for my whole life. I will work, I will save my money, and then I will retire and pursue my religious interest. So I made that planning, and it all came up, gradually. So Jainism doesn't say that women have to be at home and only bring up the children. You have to be home to study.
Yeah.
This life is for studying. And even I retired for study only. Because if you go and work, it takes so much of your time, 12 hours a day. We are into job only or business only, whatever it is. And if you are doing a business, it's not that you come home and your business is over. Even the call comes in the night also. And there your thoughts again follow those things, So you are doing 24 hours business with mobile phone. Earlier, mobile phones were not there. People were very happy. At least they used to go home and enjoy their family life. But with mobile phone, it was like that. Even if you are going with if you are going for a vacation with your family, there also mobile phone comes and it disturbs you. So now life has become so complicated. With the advancement of technology, the life has become complicated. Even the kids, now there is so much pressure from the parents to the kids that kid has to learn judo also, he has to learn swimming also, he has to learn the dramas also, he has to study also, and this class and that class and that class. So even kids of age of 8-10 years, they get diabetes, they get stress, they get anxiety, they get depression. So much of cases coming up with doctors. So how? Why? Because everyone is in the rat race. They want their kids to be in the reality show. And that how the reality shows and all the institutes are prospering. मेरा लड़का भी क्या बड़ा होकर मेरा बेटा क्या बनेगा, there was a song, from Amir Khan's film. I don't remember the name. There was.
Kayamat Tak.
कयामत से कयामत तक
What was the song?
कमा पापा कहते हैं
हाँ,
बेटा
पापा
नाम
कहते
करेगा
हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा.
हाँ,
So you go after that. Naam karega, you go, you put him into reality show and young junior idol and these and that. There's so much of things. And on one side, there are children who are getting Jainism sanskars. They are going to Pathshala and, they are learning this verses. And so both ways, there will be things of all kinds. You have to choose what you want to do. And that will determine your future. That will determine your destiny. So it's all connected. So the choice is in your hand, the decision is in your hand, and that's why we were talking about 4 expositions. You have to look at all angles, not only from one angle. So nowadays what has happened, because of this woman working, not all the cases, the husband also want a working woman, because the money will come, no? And with that money, if you are residing in a 1-bedroom hall kitchen flat, now you will move on to a 2-bedroom if both the earnings, because one salary will go to the EMIs and one will take care of the household expenses. So it's like that. Everything has changed. So the way you perceive yourself, the way you understand the religion, the way you apply this religion into your life, that good will be your life. Now, I could have made, millions of money. But I thought, let's explore this one, because we never know how much we are going to live. So if I'm losing out on my interest, then what is the use of money? That money, which is not going to help me anyways. So I thought on those lines, and other my friends told me that you are doing a big blunder, the expenses are going to go up and these and that. And I thought, anyway, it's risk. If I'm doing business, if I'm continue doing business, then also there is a risk, because every year you don't make profit. Sometimes you make losses also. So I made a simple decision. I had a belief in punya and pap, auspicious and inauspicious karma. I thought if punya is there, I will get all the things in life. And if punya is not there, even if I earn crores of rupees, I will not get what I want. I will not get a faithful wife. I will not get a faithful children. You must have seen that people earning money from illegal means, by taking bribes and by indulging in smuggling activities, wrongful activities, not paying taxes to the government, evading taxes and all these. And all their children, get into bad lines, because the money has been earned in that way. And with that money, you will not have good sanskars of your children. Either the money will go into some diseases, spending for diseases, or your children will not be on good lines. So what is the use of earning that bad money? And I've seen people who have been very honest in his life. They never had a problem. They never had money. Now you take the example of monk. They don't earn money. They don't have a house of their own, and still their life goes on. And the value of a monk, we only know how it is valuable. We know how good Acharya Amrit Chandra, they have done these works. How good this Banarsi Das ji has written this Samaisar Natak. You read Samaisar Natak and you will understand, oh, what a good things they have done for us. And why they have done for us? Because they also felt that if I am so happy with this religion, let it share with others also. So they wrote books that somebody will come and read this book, and they will come. They will realize this. They will realize this path of liberation. So this way the cycle is going on. So you get what you give. What you give is that what you get. So today I have retired, so I'm teaching you. If I haven't into business, how would I have taught you? So when I teach you, I'm not doing any good for you, but I'm doing good for myself. Because the manifestation of sharing this treasure with others, that is binding auspicious karma for me. And in my next life, I will also get Samosaran. I will get Muniraj. I will get this Jain religion. And I will get this Sadhar mix. And I will complete my journey and get liberated. So once you get liberated, then now you are in a woman birth right now. But next birth will not be a woman birth for you, because you have understood Jainism. So if you understand these principles, you will not get a woman birth again. You will be born a male. You will become a monk. You will get liberated. So now you realize the importance of these studies. We have all limited life in this life. Our age is fixed. We cannot go a second beyond our life. And it is not that everyone will attain the age of 70, 80, Pratibhaji. It's not like that. Now young people are dying. There is an accident, people dies. 15 years, 16 years, 18 years, 20 years, 30 years. You never know. So I put my son into Jainism because I thought this is what we need to do in our life. If he becomes a software engineer, he got 90% in class 10 in Bombay. But still I sent him to Jaipur in Todarmal Smarak Trust to study this Jainism. Because I thought money will anyway come through punya. You know, in a class, there are 30 students. Example, I'm giving an example. One becomes a topper in IIT and he gets a good job, whatever. And the last fellow who comes last in the class, right? He becomes the boss of that person because of luck. You are getting good things in your life. It's because of your luck. It is not because of your ability. It is not because of your education. Even intelligent people are not able to earn good money. And illiterate people like Dhirubhai Ambani, he made 65,000 crores when he died. He was a petrol pump boy in Eden. From there, he rose to such a big place. So it's all about the luck. It is not your ability that is earning you money. So even if you are a woman, you follow Jainism, you take deep interest in this, you give good sanskars to your kids, your job is done. Your job is done. And you will get such a husband that he will respect your views. It is not that you are dependent on your husband. You are dependent on your destiny. You will get such a good husband. You ask something, he will bring for you. He said, don't worry, I will bring for you. You know, Shahjahan made a Taj Mahal for his wife, Mumtaz. Palace. Taj Mahal is a palace, you know. So it's all your luck.
No,
And
sir, it's her grave.
huh?
Taj Mahal is her grave.
It's a grave, but it's a palace, no?
Yeah.
So he bought that land and he constructed that for her wife only, for his wife. So it's like, it's all at the end of the day, it is our luck that is going to bring good things in life. It is not our education or our working that is going to bring money, you know. So you follow Jainism, it is going to liberate you. Now what else you want? Even you become a Ambani, you are still into sansar only, no? So this is not something good that you learn the path of liberation and get into path of liberation and get liberated. This world will go on like this only. ये संसार ऐसे ही चलने वाला है. It's not going to end any day. And we are so fortunate that we are having access to this kind of religion, where they are showing us the path of liberation. कि तुम सब कर्मों से छूट जाएगा. You have bound so many karmas in your past life and this life, but don't worry. There is a way you can stop that karmas and you can dissociate those karmas. Samvar and nirjara. Samvar is stoppage and nirjara is dissociation of your old karmas. You will offload all your karmas without even coming into fruition. Now, where you will find this kind of things, by meditating in yourself, by concentrating on yourself, all your karmas will evaporate. And that's what Tirthankar did. That's what our Muniraj did. And they got liberated. And we are also following their footsteps. They were like us. Now Sita's next birth will be in Swarg, heaven. Okay? Ramchandraji got liberated in the same birth. And Lakshman went to Narak. Now, the three of them, they were in the jungle and they were offering food to Muniraj, All the three were offering food to Muniraj, but so their mind, speech and body were involved in the same act, by offering food to the Muniraj. But they were binding, all three were binding different karmas. One was binding Naragati's karma, one was binding heavenly karma, and one was getting liberated. One was not binding the karma. He was just dissociating his karma, Ramchandraji. So it is like that. So you believe in Jainism, you follow Jainism, and everything else will take its own place. And you will have a very good life. Not only your present life, but future you will get liberated. Now what do you want? There's such a good logic doctrine. This is such a good principle. So our time is getting over. So we end this chapter of 7 vices or 7 addictions. Now we are left with 2 chapters, but there are still 7 minutes left. So I will read the last one, the story, Parsvanath. No, that we have done, Parsvanath's story. So the next is non-violence.
Non-violence essentially.
Yeah, it's an essay. It's an essay on non-violence. Very small essay, 2-3 pages, only 1, 2. Yeah, 3 pages is there. So that we will do the next, and then we will come to Ashtanika. So we can do, what we can do is, we can read the Ashtanika chapter. It's a very small chapter. And the next class, I will give you the explanation. Okay. Page number 8, lesson number 8. The great Ashtanika.
Page 41, sir.
Yeah, page 40. So, who will read next? I will. Hemali ji, you have not read. You read. You have the textbook with you?
No, sir.
So you take a printout, no?
Yes, sir, I'll do that.
You are in India or in USA?
Sir, I'm in Bombay.
So then why don't you order the books? You will get it couriered, Within a week you will get it.
Sir, when I filled the Google form, I had done that, but they never came. I'll do it again.
So when you did it, how much days ago?
December, November or December.
Oh, so why didn't you follow up?
Sir,
I'll follow up for you. You don't worry. You just give me your references, whatever payment you have done and whatever you have done. You give me the references, I will just follow it up and
Clicked
get.
on that, never went to the payment page. Then I thought maybe this is a way of God to tell me that maybe you're not going to like the class. So now I love the class. I will get the book, so.
Okay, fine. So what I will do is, if you are in Bombay, I can courier you also, because somebody was telling me that we have one set extra. So you don't order the books, leave it. I will just courier you from. You just send me the address, okay? I'll courier you.
So, but English books they have.
Uh, uh, no. I don't think so.
I'll order them.
Yeah. Okay, you order. But if you want Hindi, you tell me. I will send you the Hindi one. Okay.
No, sir, English. The Great Ashtanika Festival. Dinesh. Brother Jinesh, would you like to chew betel leaves? Jinesh, no. Dinesh, why? You don't know this is the 8th day of the second half of Kartik month. Oh, gosh, 1 second. This is the 8th day of the second half of Kartik month. The great Ashtanika festival begins today. Dinesh, so what? Festivals are for eating and drinking. On festivals, people eat good things, put on good dresses, and live at ease. And you? Jinesh, this is not a festival of enjoyments. It is a religious festival. People live with abstinence, worship the Lord, and indulge in discussions over the nature of the self. It is a festival for the pursuit of the soul. The purpose of religious festivals is to develop feelings of detachment from worldly affairs. Dinesh, why is this festival called Ashtanika? Jinesh, the festival is observed for 8 days and therefore it is called Ashtanika. Dinesh, is this observed for 8 days of Kartik only? Jinesh, yes, it falls in Kartik every year, but it is celebrated thrice every year. Heavenly beings go to Nandeshwar Islands on the last days each of Kartik, Fagun, and Ashar. We celebrate it here from the 8th day of the second fortnight of Kartik, Fagun, and Ashtar thrice a year. We cannot go to Nandeshwar Island and as such worship our deities with reverence here only. Dinesh, where is Nandeshwar Island? Jinesh, you have read the lessons on the 3 worlds. The central world has countless islands and sea. This is the 8th island. Dinesh, why can't we go there? Dinesh, the 3rd Pushkar Island has a mountain named Manushotar. Human beings cannot go beyond that. That's why it is called Manushotar. Dinesh, what is there that attracts the heavenly beings? Jinesh, there are 52 beautiful self-made Jain temples where they come and engage themselves in the pursuit of the soul by offering worship, adoration, and indulging in religious discourses. Since we cannot go there, we arrange various religious performances here in order to realize our souls. Dinesh, why and how do people celebrate this in our country? The Jain community of the whole of India celebrates this festival, this great festival, with great religious fervor. In many places, religious rituals of Siddha Chakra Vidyan is arranged. Scholars from outside come to speak on subjects of life and soul. In a way, the whole community is under the influence of the religious atmosphere. What is Siddha Chakra? What is there in its text? Jinesh, have you never seen and listened to it? Dinesh, no. Jinesh, the Siddhas are completely liberated souls. Those who have shattered worldly bondage and developed eternal consciousness, perception, sentience, perfect bliss, and perfect potency. Those that are bereft of the 8 karmas, those that are free from the bondage of attachments and aversions, and those that stay on the borderline of this world in countless numbers are the Siddhas. And their collective existence is called Siddha Chakra. In the ritual, we worship and glorify the Siddhas. In the last verses of adoration, Jaimala, are included religious teachings beneficial to the progress of the soul, which deserve understanding. Dinesh, Jaimalas contain adorations only? Yes, they are adorations, and along with path of liberation of the soul is shown, and also how the Siddhas attain that level of psychic bliss. Dinesh, Can you explain the meaning of the text? Jinesh, no. When the ritual is arranged and scholars from outside come to deliver discourses, we should understand the meaning of the text from them. Dinesh, what is the good of their worship and adoration? Jinesh, we can understand from their nature that our own souls are also of pure and unblemished nature, and we can also attain eternal omniscience and bliss by following their footprints. After Dashlakshan, this is the second great festival of the Jains. Dinesh, I have learned that leprosy is cured by the worship of Siddhas. It is said that Shripal and 700 of his companions were cured of leprosy with this only. His wife Maina Sundari arranged the ritual of Siddhas, sprinkled holy water over the patients, and they were completely cured of this dreadful disease. Jinesh, to limit the glory of Siddha Chakra to the cure of leprosy alone is to minimize its greatness. Leprosy is only a physical ailment, while the ailments of the soul are attachments, aversions, and delusions. If we regard our souls as those of the Siddhas and absorb ourselves in them, we can cure the great diseases of birth and death, as well as attachments, aversions, and delusions. The real effect of the adoration of the Siddhas is the development of attachment from worldly affairs because they themselves are completely detached. The real devotees of the Siddhas do not desire worldly. The real devotee of the Siddhas does not desire worldly gains from their worship. Still, then he attracts meritorious karmas and worldly pelf and pleasures come his way of their own. But he does not attach any importance to them. Dinesh, I thought festivals are meant for enjoyment alone, but I have understood today that religious festivals are for developing detachment, abstinence, and the pursuit of self. I shall also lead a life of abstinence during this period and shall try to realize my soul.
Okay, so we'll do the explanation next class. Our time is over. So, you know the homework of Concept Clarity 2, you have to write on 4 expositions, and I hope you have already started. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me for any clarification. Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को